Alright guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to be explaining to you how to get a workout in with just a 10-pound dumbbell, a simple resistance band that you can find anywhere. You could be attached, be not attached, doesn't really matter. And a pull-up bar, which I have out of camera. This is going to be using 10 fundamental movements: the squat, the vertical push, the horizontal pull, the lunge, horizontal push, vertical pull, anti-rotation, carrying, hinge, and rotation. It's going to be focusing on your legs, your front, your back, and your sides. You're just going to be able to do each thing. For the squat, it's going to look something like this. You want to make sure that when you're getting in the squat, you don't want to squat like this. You want to squat like this. Then, when you're doing a vertical push, you want to make sure you're doing this. Stabilize the core by. When you breathe in, you should feel it right here, this expanding. And if it doesn't expand, keep doing it like this, and maybe switch up to tutorial if you need it. Always make sure you breathe in. That is a vertical push, and now we got to do a horizontal pull. Look something like this. You'd be here. You'd be horizontal. Basically, you do like a type of a hinge. Then you get here. Make sure you emphasize on this part, making sure you control it all the way through, making sure you squeeze your back, squeeze your lats. And then after that, there is the lunge. The lunge, you want to make sure your back foot, it could be your left leg, it could be your right leg, it depends which one you're going to go first with. I'm using my left leg. You put it back like this, make sure you get it in somewhat of a 90 degree, something similar like that. Then you go down like this. You should feel a stretch in your back quad or your back front of the thigh, and then you also should feel it in your front right thigh. So you're doing it in this position as I am, and when you're doing it, you should be doing it on your toes. You shouldn't have your back foot completely straight all the way through because you can't even really get that far with it. Anyways, next one is the horizontal push, which would be like a simple push-up or anything. And now you look at something like this, put your knee on the ground. If you also can't perform it that well, make a simple push-up just like this, and you want to make sure that you're emphasizing this right here. And it depends if you want to get more of a workout from your chest, put your arms wider because it'll stretch your chest more. If you want to get more of a workout from something like your triceps, put your hands closer because it'll allow your triceps to work more because they're getting more of a stretch. Next thing I have on the list, vertical pull. So that would be a pull-up of any kind. And that would be going like this, going down, making sure you put emphasis on those back muscles, making sure that your core is stabilized. And when you're doing the vertical pull, you want to make sure when you're going up, you can use any sort of ledge. You're going to need a pull-up bar for this, but you don't need one. If you can find something in your house, I would suggest using it. But if you place your hands wider, you'll get more of a stretch from the lats. If you place your hands closer, you'll, honestly, I don't know where you get more of a stretch from. And if you place your hands like this or like this would be neutral. This would be super, whatever it's called. This would be overhand. And if you place your hands like this or this, you'll get more of a workout from your biceps in. When you're doing it, you want to make sure you control it nice and slow. And as you'll see, when I put my arm up, I want to make sure that you put your legs like that and you're controlling it all the way up and then all the way down. If you squeeze more in your back, you'll get more of a workout in your back. But if you try to squeeze your arms more, then you'll get more of a workout from your arms as well. After that, vertical pull, we have anti-rotation. Grab yourself a band, attach to any surface. I personally like to do these things where you grab them like this, but on both sides, and then you kind of push out. And it practices on your anti-rotation. You can do these standing, and you can also go like this. Instead, I would say that you get more of a workout from right here when you're doing it. When you do it sitting, and it's more of a upward position compared to you get it more from up here. I'd suggest doing it around the middle so that you get an even workout from both. But maybe you struggle more with upwards or lower, then you can target those, which is another great reason why there's variety in exercises. And then we have carrying. Grab a nice dumbbell and You just walk around and you carry it. You can walk around in a circle, doesn't matter. But the more turns you do, the harder it'll be for you. And that is what I experience, at least. Maybe you don't experience that. Then after that, we have a hinge movement. Hinge movement will involve you not arching your back like this. You don't want to ever arch your back like this, but instead you hinge at the hips. Hinge like this. And then as you can see, my back is fully straight. Then you want to do a hinge movement like this, pick up something, and unhinge. Hinge, unhinge, hinge, unhinge. Okay, next, the last one would be rotation, which could be really anything. A simple one you can do is get down like this. If you're more advanced, you can put your legs in the air for this. You can go down like that. To be honest, even better than I can do that. And you basically just go from left to right, from left to right, and then you do that a bunch of times usually. There's certain exercises you'd want to maybe load on and do more reps, and there's certain exercises where you'd want to do less reps, but it'd be a higher weight. And I would say things like the rotation, anti-rotation, and carrying would be the best things for higher reps, lower weight, because that's more of stability exercises and helping you move better day-to-day life. But that is basically it. But now we're going to be showing you what to do for each singular exercises. You can skip. This is the part you would have skipped to when I told you to at the start. So we're going to start with a squat, and that can be done with any amount of weight. You don't have to use weight though. I'm going to be using some simple 10-pound dumbbells, just because that's what we're going to be using for this workout. You can hold them up like this, hold them up like this, whatever's comfortable for you, doesn't really matter. Make sure when you're going down, you want to go down like this, nice and controlled, like this. Emphasize your glutes on the way up. I did a nice 10 reps there because I felt that weight was a little bit too light for me, so I decided to do more. Typically I'll do 7 or 6 because I'm not focused on muscle gains, I'm focused more on strength gains. Next thing we have to do is a vertical push, which you could do this with a band, do it with a dumbbell. For this reason, I'm going to be using a dumbbell. You can put your arm in more of this position when you're going up. You can put it more in this position when you're going up. But I see people typically have more problems going like this when they're going up. I don't know why that is. So I like to use more of a balance, kind of sort of in the middle a little bit, like a 45-degree angle. And there we go. You want to make sure that you're going slow on the way up and slow on the way down. There's different research suggesting different things. If you're a beginner lifter, it might be better to go for more of the stretch position of the muscle in the flex position. If you're building muscle, that is. I don't know its effects on strength because I haven't seen anything. But anyways, now we go for the horizontal pull, which is for the back. The squat was for the legs. The horizontal push was for the front of the body. And then the horizontal pull is for the back of the body. Horizontal pull, be done like this. Make sure you kind of hinge like this Make your back straight. Emphasize the stretch if you want to build more muscle. You can also do any of these with a bar if you'd like. That'll work out more. It'll work out a little bit less of your stabilizer muscles if you use a bar because you're using two hands to support yourself. But if you use one hand, you'll typically use more stabilizer muscles. Now for the legs again, you do a lunge. I'm going to be doing these lunges with 10-pound dumbbell once again. If you're doing this, you're going to feel most of it kind of, in my opinion, you most likely feel it in your hamstrings, but you'll feel a stretch right here, right here. Now for the next leg. Also, by carrying these dumbbells quite a bit, you'll notice that your forearms, I feel a little rested. So if you really want to, you could do something, attaching a weighted vest. Those could be expensive. So just realize that problem when you're doing it. You can use straps if it's a big factor for you, but eventually your forearms will get strong enough. Next thing to do is now a horizontal push, which works out the front. You can also take breaks during this. I'm not going to be taking breaks because I don't have the time to be taking breaks. But anyways, we're doing a horizontal pull. You want to make sure you're going out like, if you want to do more tricep based, you can go out more like that. If you want to go more chest based, you want to go out more like this, because this gives more of a stretch in the chest. This gives more of a stretch in the triceps, which are located right here, and the chest could work here in case you didn't know. Anyways, let's get into it. Going to make sure, going to apply rotation outwards. As you can see, you don't want to have rotation inwards like this. You want to have it outwards like this. You want to make sure you're using the outer parts of your hand when you perform it as well. Now, when you're performing something like push-ups, you'll still have to use push-ups. But when you're performing something like push-ups, sometimes by just having your nose touch the ground, it's not enough stretch in your chest or your triceps. So what you can also do instead is you can, instead of hitting it in your nose at the bottom, like this typically, you could put your head up a little bit like this and go down, just so your chest is right above the floor. If your chest touches the floor, you'll lose the stretch you're getting because you'll just be resting on your chest. Next you have is the vertical pull. This is the pull-up bar I'm going to be using. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. These I would consider a little bit dangerous, so I might want to upgrade my equipment here soon. And if I fall, call an ambulance. But anyways, I'm going to be making sure I focus on more of the stretch portion, because better muscle growth out of this. But if you're more of an experienced lifter, it won't work as well. But if you're a new lifter, it'll work a lot better, focusing on that stretch. I'm going to be using a overhand grip because I want to focus more on my back. Make sure to stabilize that core by putting your legs out in front. If you want more of a leg workout, you can put them out like that. And if you want more of a ab workout, you can put them to your chest like that. Here we go. If you also focus on going to failure, you'll notice that your muscles will usually become bigger. If you go to failure too many times, your muscles will get exhausted. And now we're going to be doing anti-rotation. For the anti-rotation, I'm going to be using this band here, like I said, attach it over any surface like this. For example, if I wanted to, if it was more together like this, if it was attached right here, instead what I could do is put it around like this. You do it the exact same way, except now I'm going to push out as far, but it still works. Since mine is separated, I'm going to just apply it like this around it. Make it around even length in between them both. And once I have found around an even length, I'm going to put it up around where my chest is. My chest is around right here. I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to get on this. And now I'm going to grab it on one side, grab it on the other, clasp my hands together, and go out. Making sure I resist the movement in my entire core. So, now for working on the other side, all you got to do is just simply change where you are and be like this. The further you go up, for example, if it's more at your side, like this, it's basically at my side, you'll get more of a workout because you'll be pushing the band further away. But if you don't have to push the band that far, you'll get less of a workout. Of course, the slower you go, the better the workout you'll get from that as well. And then now, on to the 8th exercise, we have carrying. This works out primarily the arms. And before, I haven't been saying anything. The last thing I said was back. Lunge was legs. Horizontal push was the front of the body. Vertical pull was the back. Anti-rotation is more of the entire core and lower back area. And then now we're doing carrying, which is mostly arms, trap, and maybe legs if you're not maybe as good as walking. But anyways, what I'll usually do is I'll set a timer. I'll be going for 30 seconds because we have a limited time frame. I would suggest going for maybe something more like a minute. If you need more time to get more of a workout in, that's what I would do. Or instead, use a heavier weight. And there's also different variations. There's one where you're just grabbing a dumbbell. There's one where you're grabbing a trap bar. And then there's one where you're pinching it, pinching a dumbbell or a plate. Pinching will work more on the muscles you may not work on daily. I would suggest not doing it unless you really need to work on those muscles for some reason. And then you can do these normal ones if you want to work more on stabilizing, because individual dumbbells will have their own mind compared to a combined bar like a trap bar. Now, my 30-second timer has been up for more than 30 seconds, so I'm not going to put these down. I didn't get much of a workout in, but that's okay. I could just go for longer when I'm done with the video. Next is a hinge, which will work on the legs. Now, you guys are going to see a hinge. Remember, you're going at a hinge. You don't ever want to curve your back. You always want to make sure you keep a nice straight back, as I'm doing right here. Go from the bottom like this, and then pull up, making sure you emphasize those glutes and that lower back. You should have felt that mostly in the lower back, the hamstrings, and then your glutes. Your glutes would be your buttocks. Your hamstrings will be right out in the back of your thigh, and then your lower back would be the lower area of your back. And now you want to do a rotation, which is, for example, a Russian twist. Would be a rotation, meaning you carry it from left side to the right side. This would even technically be a rotation. Right here, I'm going to get on the ground so I can get more of a stretch with it. For example, when I'm going like this, I get more of a stretch in my oblique because I'm reaching my arm over more than if I were to just go side to side. I would suggest doing more reps in that kind of workout because you're trying to get more of a stabilizing, and when you're walking around all day, that's typically a movement you do very often, so you want to do higher reps to stimulate endurance rather than muscle. Anyways, that is the 10 fundamental movements to help you move every single day, and also that's the only exercise I've been doing for around 6 months now, and I've grown a lot of muscle. There is research on also lengthened partials, which focuses on more of the stretch aspect. For example, this would be the stretch aspect because your muscle fibers are more extended out. Then this would be the non-stretch. This would be more of the bulk because it bulks it up basically. But the thing is that when you're doing the bulk, is it typically won't really flex it. You'll feel it really hard right here, but then when you feel right here, it'll feel kind of soft unless you're actually flexing it. But anyways, it should feel really soft right here, and then when it's here, it should feel really stretched and tense. When you focus on more of the stretch right here, you'll get more muscle gain from that. But if you're an experienced lifter, they found that there was no difference. But if you're a new beginner lifter, it can actually help. But I haven't seen how much it helps. I just know that it's better if you want to focus on muscle. But personally, I would like to focus on more full reps just because that's my preference. You can do either or. It's really up to you. But now I'm going to get on the 5-year editing process for this video because wow, this is a long video. And that's going to be all for today. So bye guys.